Hi, I'm so excited to be here to finish up a week of Glitter Girl projects on the American Crafts blog. So if you're seeing the video first and you haven't popped over to the American Crafts blog, then you should, because there's a whole week of beautiful projects with the brand new Glitter Girl collection. And all those projects are made by members of the American Crafts design team. And then today it's my turn, and I'm really excited. Okay, so I am going to take this collection and layer. That's my whole aim today. I'm starting with the B side to this pattern, and I really like the A side as well, but the B side is going to be just right for that photo. And I'm using a 4x4 photo printed with a white border. And because I'm going to be doing lots and lots of layering on top, the white border will help make sure that I don't lose anything along the way. If you like inking your edges with this collection, I really recommend trying a gray ink and seeing what you think. You can also there's a lot of room for the potential to ink with individual colors. So ink the pink papers with pink, and ink the purple papers with purple, and so forth. But what I really like for ease is finding one neutral that works with everything, and I really like how gray works with this, even though with the wood grains it might not have been my first choice. But I just think that brown, even though I might normally use that with the wood grain, brown with the brighter colors just makes it a little too muddy for my liking. Of course, your mileage may vary. Now, because I've got a 4x4 photo, it means that I can do lots of layering from the 6x6 pad, which I can't do with a 4x6 photo. So I'm going to start there. I did want to just add that little strip along the side, because that was kind of my starting point of wanting to bring all the colors into the page by having them along a border. And I just thought I'd get it stuck down before I did anything else, because otherwise I might forget. So then I wanted to find a whole bunch of different patterns that I could layer behind this photo. So to do that, I'm going to pick out a whole bunch and just place them behind there so I can see what it looks like, and then edit from there. I want to have some things that are light and some things that are darker for more contrast, and I want a whole bunch of different colors. But I've also got one photo, or one girl in the photo and one boy in the photo, so I don't want it to be over the top girly. Now, if you've never seen my pages before, I do a lot of what might be known as feminine colors with my boy pages. It doesn't bother me at all, because after all, I tend to think that if I'm making the page, and I'm quite girly, it's a reflection of me making it. But also, I have a boy who isn't bothered by pink. So, you know, things may change as he changes with time, but right now it works. Okay, do I want to use that black floral for a lot of contrast, maybe? And put that in the mix. And I want just one thing from this number print, which is the number 3, because these two are born about 36 hours apart, and this particular photo was taken on one of their 3rd birthdays. So we'd gone out for the day to celebrate their birthdays, so I want the 3 about that. Now, I realize that might be confusing when there are 2 people in the picture to have a number 3, but here's why it works for me. And my pages go into chronological order in my album, so this photo will be right alongside things from the 3rd birthday party, and so it should all make sense. And obviously, when you look at it, you know that's not 3 people. So your brain will then realize, oh, I just need to think of another thing that the 3 could mean, and in this case, it's that they're turning 3 years old. Okay. By taking all the branding strips off, I can then figure out my stack of layers without my eye getting a little bit confused by all the different patterns going on at the top. And I know that I want something nice and light to contrast against the more saturated tone here, so I want to start with one of the patterns that has white. I think that's my best bet there. And then I also want this one that has the leaves from this pattern repeating, so that's going to bring those two together, but in the really dark tone, so I'm going to have a big contrast between these. Now, I then wanted something that was kind of in the middle to pick up on one of the colors. For example, maybe a little bit of the blue or a little bit of the pink. And I started with looking at this camera, but keeping in mind that I'm going to put something else on top of it. I'm not sure that that's a pattern that will layer really well next to this floral, because I think your eye is going to try and figure out what this is, and it's not going to see enough to know it's a camera. It's going to see enough there to know those are flowers, and it's just a little bit jarring. So when I tried something that was a little simpler, I think this is a better spot for that medium version. And then I want to have the darker again, and then I'm going to possibly end here, possibly end on this lighter one. So from here, I can then cut all those layers to be smaller. Now here's where I need to decide. If I cut this down like that, you're not going to see much, although you are just going to see a little kind of explosion of those colors. So I think it would be okay that you wouldn't be able to read any of those. But also, I was thinking about using these blue holographic photo corners. So if I put one of these on here and then have a look at it, it is very similar to this pattern, so I don't have a contrast there. I do have a contrast if I have it on here. So maybe that's going to be my better option. I'm just going to stick that over on the sheet so that I don't accidentally stick it to something, and I think I'll have to cut all these before I make that final decision. I've cut each of these to a square that's just slightly bigger than the last one, but I don't want to have it all marched into order like that, because then it's going to look very formal, and that's not really reading what the patterns are. They're quite informal, and the photo's quite informal. I want it to have a lot more energy and a casual nature, so I'm going to mix it all up a little bit. And when I put my adhesive on, I don't adhere the edges, because I want the potential to layer a whole bunch more stuff around the edges. And I can always add more adhesive to the edges to hold it down a little bit more, but I can't take it away very easily. So that works for me to just move things back and forth at tiny little angles with the adhesive in the middle so that it's all held into place. And there we go. I think I am going to end on that one, and I'm going to overlap this so that it comes a little bit over there. Now the other thing I can do is I can take this whole stack from the back here and decide, nope, I want it just a little bit more over to the right. And now these photo corners. So these are, everything you're seeing here is in the Glitter Girl collection, so you're getting enough to do 2 photos in each pattern if you want to do all 4 corners, but of course you can make them last longer and do more projects if you only want to put them on 2 corners here and there, or put them on, if you had 4 photos, you could do just the outside corners to dress it up a little bit. But there's the pink glitter, and the glitter's not coming off. I'll just show you. Glitter's nice and stuck, holographic in the middle, and then gold foil. And they're sticky on the back, but not inside. So you just line it up on your photo how you want it, and then you can adhere your photo with or without adhesive. Now, because I move my albums a lot, I am going to put adhesive on this just to be doubly sure, but those are nice and sticky, so I'm not hugely worried. Okay, and then I just want to get the corners straightened up because they are sticky. I have a start now, but I want to do a title, journaling, embellishment, of course, all the good things. So there's still lots of layering to come. I've used just a part of this sheet on the B side, which is a giant 12 by 12 ledger or grid for writing, but I've just used this little box up here, and I'm going to trim it down to this size and run the title here with the journaling underneath. So I'm just going to trim this off and save that for something else. And just add the gray there as well. So I want that roughly in line there, but with enough space for a title in between, but I'm not going to leave that space there. I'm going to put some other stuff, of course. Let's have more. I want to bring in all of these colors, make sure they're present, and the one that's not as obvious here is the yellow. So I'm going to take a little scrap of that to run across this space here. And then title stickers over the top. And I'm going to do the title with a mix of the two thicker packs that are in this collection. So one is words with some extra stars and things. So that's this one, which I've used a few there, but most of it's still there. And then the other one is an alpha, and it's a wood grain alpha with gold edges, gold glitter edges. And I think that needs to go out further there. So we're going to have that background to work on for my title. And I'm going to use this nice little loopy super. And I'm going to use the wood grain here. So you've got a wood grain alpha, but with some glitter around the edge. And I'm just going to line up the letters using that top of the journaling box as my grounding line, so that it won't feel like it's floating away or getting lost. Now I've stopped right here for a second because I want to put another layer behind that before I stick those letters down, and that's going to be from the sticker book. Except the sticker book in this collection is not a book. We put them in a folder so that, one, you get a tiny little bit more room where the staples used to hold it into the book, but more importantly, so that there's no bending of the pages and you can keep them nice and safe without having any of them come loose from the background from bending the pages to get through the book. So I hope you find that useful. There's still 8 pages, so you actually get a little bit more in terms of how many stickers. And there are different finishes. So I'm using this one, which has the gold foil, but there's also some holographic little details, and it's not over the top. I tried to keep it as subtle as possible so that you're getting the shine, but without it taking away the ability to read things. Just in little spots. And then there's a pink alphabet, and there are 2 pages that are washi, and this is holographic washi on a couple of the pieces, so exciting times. Anyway. I wanted to use 2 of the floral pieces with the gold foil opposite the photo, but then I also want to bring in my number 3. And if I put it in here somewhere, it's now going to read into the title, and I don't want that. So instead, I'm going to go over to this strip that I added at the beginning, and to make it fit with everything else, I'm going to bring in 1 more of those gold foil floral stickers. And just pop that up here at the top. And the 3 is going to go over the top of that with some foam squares just to give it a little bit more dimension. And I'll build from there. So it's going to have a little bit more embellishment. I'm just looking, do I want it over here so that you see more of the floral piece? But I think I actually like it better if the white overlaps onto there. So I'm going to put that right there, even though that's covering a fair amount of the sticker, but you're also still seeing a lot of it there, and you're seeing the part that is shaped like a corner, and this piece here is shaped like a corner, and then this one is the larger piece. It's going to be in the middle, so that should be helpful to framing everything. I have left myself some space here for embellishment, or because the hearts are nice and lined up and really clear, I think I can also leave that if I want, and it's not going to be too worrisome. I want to add a little bit more up here, and then I'm just going to start balancing by adding a little bit here and then a little bit there. just balancing all the different spots of embellishment. And just going to get this nice light washi for the good contrast against the background. Okay. So this is that floral once again, but on white instead of black. So I can put that up there and have a little bit of lighter space, and then some little more colorful pieces on top of it. Now, all of the cut aparts from the 12 by 12 papers appear in the 6 by 6 as well, so they're just shrunk down to that smaller format. But that includes the page that has lots and lots of cut apart pieces, which I've been busy cutting that one apart, but you get the idea that it has lots of small pieces. So when you bring it down to the 6 by 6 size, then it's really small. And I absolutely love cutting that one up to use as embellishment. So here's part of it, because I've even been cutting it apart in the 6 by 6 already. So I'm going to bring in this box up here. Just even that up a bit. Of course, you could do it on a trimmer. In this case, it might have been a little bit quicker. Sometimes I think it's going to be quicker, and it's not. And I think tucking that in here somewhere is going to work well. But I'm getting a lot of white in there without a lot of color, so it'd be nice to also bring in the color. And to bring in that more color, I am going to cut up more paper, but I also wanted to look more at the embellishments. And this is one of the lenticular pieces from the die cut pack. So you get a few of these different shapes that change their pattern, but you also get a whole bunch of traditional cardstock, non-flippy type die cuts, all in the same pack. And I just thought I'd bring this little birdie up to that top corner so that he's tucked behind there. And I'm wondering, if I put him there, the circle is a little bit more pleasing, but I'm losing almost all of that, and it's hard to see the bird. So I think actually I'm going to bring him up a little bit here, so that it's only just tucked behind there. And then maybe that will be a great place for me to bring in some smaller embellishments, just to make that gap in there not at all awkward. So these are the large enamel dots. And there's two kinds of enamel dots in this collection. One comes in an embellishment pack that has some adhesive sequins, small teeny tiny enamel dots, and wood framed buttons, all to coordinate with the collection. And then there's this big pack, and I've used quite a bit of that, so you can see maybe what was there, that you get all of the larger pieces, and these are all sparkly. Yeah, really love the color as it shows up in there. Okay, so I've got that circle up there, and this bit's getting a bit more full, so I thought I'd be able to come down and balance that here. I liked the idea of using this one, but I think with everything I've got on the page, that's now a little bit too big. That is from the die cut pack as well, but just a little bit too big for what I've already got there. So let's see about bringing the color in through some papers. So this is from the 6 by 6 paper pad, but it comes larger in the 12 by 12 sheets, of course. These three are all from that top row of the 6 by 6 sheet, and I'm just going to put one in each grouping and tuck them underneath the different things that are already there. So I've got one to go up there. I wanted to bring the yellow up to this part of the page. Oh, but I don't want that little gap in there, so I'm going to overlap this. There we go, like that a little better. And a little bit more pink over here, mostly because that was the best motif that I had left in that little size, and I wanted one each, so that seems sensible. But I do want to bring the yellow up here. Now I wasn't hugely concerned because I've got the yellow at this point, and I have yellow here and yellow here. But I'd really like to bring something special into this section of embellishment, and it's going to be this. So these they're all stickers, and they have glitter that shakes around inside. And I just want to put that right into this grouping. Maybe I need to bring the ice cream down a little bit. Let's see, what if I adhere the ice cream to that? No. No, the answer is no. Okay, let me get a little bit more glue on that because I've touched it too much. It's not sticky now. Bring it right down to there. And tuck that into there. Okay. Little trick, I do find that it helps with these to push from the back. So that, because if you push here, you're not really pushing on that bottom layer because it's like a little balloon of air. So you need to push on the back to make sure it's actually flat without, you know, popping the sticker. So now I've got a nice explosion of the pink, of the yellow up there, and that yellow triangle is really guiding your eye around the page. Time for some little pieces that are a bit more scattery, and I'd like something colorful down here so that it doesn't feel like there's all this layering and then it just stops really awkwardly. So I'm going to look at the 6x12 sticker sheet because it has some borders. Now one of the borders is the same as the paper, but the other one has this star pattern with the pink. I just thought I could line this up for about the same width as the title so that I'm kind of framing the title and kind of in a very subtle way bringing a little bit more attention to it. And then the rest of these can go back on the sheet for another day. And just get that little edge tidied up. There are lots of different handwritten words throughout this collection, and the sticker sheet has a few that are just on their own. So I'm going to bring in the yellow just to come down to this little corner as well. Now remember, I put one enamel dot up here and then I've never added any more since I did that one, so they're starting to be a little bit odd perhaps. So I'm going to bring in the other three, or the other two to finish up that three is what I meant. So a little bit of the pink, and then I was wondering about that lighter blue, like the color of that circle with the bird there. And then I think because I've got one heart and one circle there, I think my best bet is just to go ahead and go with the third motif, the stars. So I'm going to bring in 3 of the turquoise stars. Just so that each little grouping is forming a small little triangle. So overlap that. And I'm mostly putting things on edges so that they go over the top of a few different layers. Now I haven't put anything else down here, and I'm wondering if it could be dressed up by something just a little bit, and that's what I'm thinking. I could bring this, the little stars from the thickers in, so that this turquoise glitter just shows up in a few different places too. Oh, that's so that it just frames a little better there. I can put one there, and maybe one more little tiny one. There. Now, I am done layering these edges, I think, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop a little bit more adhesive there so that it's not going to be too loose. It is pretty secure. And I think the last little thing that I'd like to do is bring a little bit of the white, because I've got white in this box, and this box, but it all feels very blocky. So I'd like to be able to bring in a little bit more organic white, and I'm going to do that with some stitches and some mist. Stitching is just really simple, a little bit of texture added by having it along that side and a little bit down here. Didn't want it to be perfect, ran back and forth a few times and left the ends hanging on the front rather than pulling it through, where if it was a page where everything was nice and orderly and tidy, then I would pull it through to the back and make sure that everything was very straight. But that's not this page. So I wanted to bring that kind of frenetic energy through. And originally thought I might add some white here and here, but I'm actually thinking that it's quite nice just in these two corners. So I think I'm going to add it just there and not anywhere else. So that's everything finished. Lots and lots of layers from the Glitter Girl collection. And I would love for you to check out other things that have been made and posted on the American Crafts blog, or use the hashtag #ACGlitterGirl if you're sharing online, because I would love to share what you're making or see what you're making. Or you could stop by the Facebook group Scrapbook Like a Superhero, where we share lots of things that all of us are making. Love to see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye!